Hey everybody, it's Melissa at the Monterey Public Library. Why am I holding a plant? Because this month's take and make are plant stakes. Yes, that rhymes. You are going to make these really cute plant decorations. I recommend using them indoors. Supposedly the wire is weather resistant, so if you want to be brave and put them in an outdoor pot, go for it. If you were able to stop at the library and get a kit, you have everything you need, which is just wire and beads, except a pencil. You also need either a pencil or a pen. All right. If you weren't able to get a kit, you can get this copper wire and some beads pretty much anywhere. I used 12 gauge copper wire, and the beads are 3mm holes, so the holes large enough to go around the wire. All right, makes sense? All right, let me switch camera angles and we'll get started. Okay, in your instructions, you have a mark that's a 6-inch line. And you're going to take your wire and you're going to line one of the ends up with one of the ends of the 6-inch line. Now you'll notice my wire is not super straight. Yours will not be either, and that's okay. That said, this wire is it's bendy, so it's easier for our hands, which is great. But that means that it's not so sturdy. So when we start working on it, it's going to get all bendy. So the less you touch it, the better. But if you do something wrong, let's say I do this, and I don't want that there, you can get the bends out. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to pull it as straight as you can, and you'll see that there's still some bends there. Now you're going to take a pencil that you're using anyway, and you're going to pretend like if you know how to curl a ribbon, you're going to pretend like you're doing that with the scissors. You're going to take your pencil and you're going to just drag it along the wire. And that's going to straighten it out. If it didn't work super great, you can also do it down on the table. So if you hold this down and you pull, it'll straighten it out. Which is why you'll notice these are not pencil marks or teeth marks on my pencil. They are wire marks. So don't worry, I'm not chewing my pencil. Okay, so now we've got our wire relatively straight. You're going to take your pencil, you're going to set it down here, and we're going to put our first bend in. And I use the pencil to do that. So this is going to be the bottom of our stake. So we are going to start, and we're going to put our first little twist in by wrapping this top part of the stake around the pencil. So you're going to grab the pencil and the top part of the stake, holding this as close to that line as you can. It's not the end of the world by any means. In fact, if you want this shorter or longer, it's up to you. You can do that. And so I'm going to take this and I'm just going to bend it like that. And then I'm going to do the same thing. So I need a few loops here. So I'm going to take the long part of the wire and I'm going to wrap it around again. And again, and then I like loops, so I might do one more. And the top one I'm going to do around the point of my pencil or my pen because I want this top loop to be a little bit smaller in diameter. So I'm just going to wrap that around, all the way around. So I have a full circle in that top smaller diameter. All right, now obviously these are all kitty wampus, so we want to straighten them out. So I'm going to leave the pencil in there. And I'm going to bend this one, but keeping my thumb right here and bending up. So I'm not bending that loop. I'm bending the wire as it comes off of the loop. So I'm just going to bend that, straighten that out. Same thing down here. I'm going to hold on to this. I'm going to keep my thumb at the bottom of this loop, and I'm going to straighten that one down. You can use the pencil for that if you want. Okay, and then we're going to pull the pencil out. So this is going to be, my pencil wants to roll on me. This is going to be the bottom of our stake. Again, it's the length, I started this way. It's the length about of the 6-inch mark. So this part, the longer-ish part, is going to be the top. This is where we're going to put our beads. So the next step we're going to do is we're going to prepare this to get our beads on there and hold on to them. So these two little guys, the part that you just wrapped around the tip of your pencil or your pen, we're going to squish that together. And sometimes I even squish it all the way. So I ended up with 2 little loops there. If you have 1 little loop and 1 big loop, you can squish these 2 together. And I might just squish them all just so you can see what I mean by squishing them together. And then I'm going to have to kind of rearrange, re-straighten. So you've got this little smaller area. This is where your beads are going to sit. So that's kind of just the spot so the beads don't fall all the way down. Then we're going to grab our beads and decide what order we'd like them to be on the stake. Now, because I said it's best to not handle this too much, so you want to figure out how you want your beads before you put them on here, so that you don't have to put them on and off a bunch. Now, everybody's beads are completely different. So I have no idea what colors or shapes or sizes you ended up with in your kit. I would love to see when you're done making these. If you wanted to post it to our Facebook page, we'd love to see what you made because it's so fun and because everybody's are so different. Let's see, I think I will do mine this way. Okay, so then we're just going to put the beads on the wire. Again, we're putting it on the side that touches the squished ones. So you just thread them on. So I use 11 beads on this size. It seems like a decent number for me, but you could put these beads anywhere you wanted. If you wanted, you could put a bead in the middle here. You could put beads down here and put a different little crimp down there. It's up to you. This is a really personalizable, is that a word? Craft. And I hope that you are feeling creative. If the wire ends up being too tricky for you to bend with your fingers, if you have pliers, that really helps. If it really is too hard, let me know. I do actually have some thinner, welcome back here, beads, some thinner wire that I tried first because I liked how easy it was, but it was way too flexible for my liking. When I tried to stick it in the dirt, it just bent all over. It is doable if you're really gentle though. So if you really are having a hard time with this craft, I want you to be successful. So let me know and I can get you a piece of the other wire too. All right, so just about have that on there. There we go. So they're on there. Don't worry, we're going to straighten this out in a bit. So now we need to work on the top part. So I make a big curly-Q swirl here. Again, you can do anything you want. So the way I do that is I take my pencil again, or my pen, and I wrap this end right around the tip of the pencil. Forgive my cracked thumb, hand sanitized skin here. And I just bend this over like that. See that? And then I keep rolling a little bit. So I just keep the pencil in there just for about one more kind of twirl. You can keep the pencil in as long as you want, whatever works best for you. Works best for me at this point. I take the pencil out and now I just roll it with my hands. But you can leave the pencil in too if you want. So I just roll. I'm going to readjust when we get to the bottom. So it's okay if this isn't exactly how you want it. We'll fix it. So when I get to about as far as I can twist without running into the beads, I kind of straighten my beads up. And I even, so you'll notice right here, this is not lined up. Can you see that? It's kind of not at all on top of these. So I'm going to bend this a little bit so that it ends up lining up, sitting a little straighter above the loops. Okay. So I'm just going to bend that like that. So that's a little bit straighter above the loops. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's going to be in your plant. No one's going to really see that part. They're just going to be looking at the beads in your cool plant. Okay, so now back to the top. So now my swirl is about to the top of the bead. So I take my left hand, I guess, and I hold on to it like this, and I put my thumb right at the top of that bead, and then I bend this back so that I get a little bit of a angle. Obviously, if you tip this upside down, the beads are still going to go around your curl, but this stops them a little bit. So I do that, and then I curl it a little bit more, holding it still against my thumb to kind of keep that crimp, but I can fix my swirl and make it however I want it to look. And now we're not at all straight anymore. That's okay. You just are going to straighten this up a little. And you can see my bead was going around. And if you want, I mean, beads up here are also awesome. So however you want to do it is just fine. So I think I'm good with my swirl like that. I'm going to maybe make this crimp a little bit tighter, just so that that bead stays a little bit more in place. Okay, and I'm just going to kind of adjust this swirl too to see it's not so curly over there. So I'm going to, you can even put your pencil in here if you want, and stretch it around, kind of shape it however you want it to be shaped. Okay, so then we're basically done. I'm just going to straighten the whole thing out a little bit. Sometimes I put it down to do that. And straighten that. Get my little bead back where it's supposed to be. There we go. That's it. Just like that. You made a beaded plant stake. When you stick it in the ground, obviously this will stay up there. Well, when you stick it in your plant. All right, now it's time to go stick it in your plant. There you go. There's the one we just made. Now I've got 4 in this one plant, which might be a little bit of overkill. I think I'll spread them out around the library. I hope you enjoyed making our take and make, and I look forward to seeing you back in the library sometime soon. Bye.